Today we're going to talk about a knife that's part of a watch, or a watch that's part of a knife. I don't know. Stay tuned and you can decide. So this was loaned in from Alex over at the Watch and Cut channel. Also my co-host on the EDC Hour with Dirk and Alex. This is a very interesting and cool lock back knife, handmade in France. Now, it's interesting on a lot of reasons. One, it uses watch gears and parts in the scale. So it's like an acrylic type scale that maybe we can see the 3D part of it, because these are actually parts that are cast in or molded in, I'm not even sure the right term, into the acrylic. So you can see there how they are just floating in the acrylic or this resin of whatever it is. You know, I don't know exactly, but that is just totally cool. And, you know, I brought out a watch to show this is kind of the act, you know. Now, they didn't use, I don't even know. They probably did not use Omega parts, but it's a very cool concept. And I kind of like it. Hand filing on the spring, because it is a lockback. And you'll notice here too that the blade is actually longer than the handle, and it fits into this groove in the spring to keep it safe, secure, and all of that. I think that's genius. So it gives you some more blade length in your knife. Now, it does get fingerprints all over it, so just, yeah, that's just part of the design. There's no way to flip it open. It is a two-handed opening knife. And that's partially, I'm guessing, because of the laws in most other places than the United States. A lot of places say you cannot have a one-handed opening knife. A lot of places say you can't have a locking knife. Some places say you can have a one-handed opening knife, but it can't be locking. So there's a lot of weird rules in other places of the world than just the United States. So if you're going to be traveling, that is something to think about. I personally have never been out of the country. I think I've mentioned that before. So hasn't been a problem for me yet. So this is from, I don't even think I mentioned who it was from yet. Let's zoom in and take a quick close-up look. So this is the Le Thiers model from Fontenille Pataud. Yeah, not sure how you pronounce that. Pataud. These are handmade. Ignore the smudges and fingerprints on the blade. But just the fit and finish on this is exquisite. You can feel a seam here, and I think you can see the marks on the bolster, right? Because it's cut at an angle. So you can actually see through the acrylic or this epoxy resin and see the striations and the cuts on that bolster. I just think this is so cool. And being into watches and being into knives, this is just exquisite, really. Now, it's not something I would carry. I kind of like the fact that they put handmade on the blade. This is 14C28N blade steel. It's not one of your quote-unquote super steels. But I don't know. Is there anything wrong with 14C? I'm not a blade guy. I'm not a steel snob. I'm going to leave that to you guys to comment down below what you think of steels. I think it's a pretty cool knife. Handmade in France. The leather slip that it comes with also is made in France. So I think it's very cool. It's not necessarily something I would carry because it's not my style, but it's certainly something I would consider owning just for the watch collector novelty of it all. For me personally, I think it's cool. Let's talk about the specs. 4 3/4 closed, 8 inches overall, 3.27 inch blade, 0.012 behind the edge, 0.115 blade thickness. We talked about the steel. The overall thickness is 0.553 and it weighs in at 4.8 ounces. They make several different models. They make a couple of different sizes of this one. They also make other models, and I'll put a link to their website down below. I could not find this exact model online. Something similar with not as a fancy a handle. I think it was stabilized burl wood or something like that. Was 204 pounds, I think. So you could do some math. I don't know. It's like $250 US, I think, give or take. Which isn't bad for a handmade custom knife. Like, get out of here. $250, $300. How can you really go wrong with that if you like that style and whatnot? I think it's great. So let me do a couple of quick size comparisons here so you get a feel for it. Here's it with the Spyderco Delica, the Sharpie. How about the Kubi? And just because we're talking about handmade customs, let's pull out the Hellraiser. Different price points. I get it. But still, handmade customs. Let's take it a step farther and go real handmade one-off custom. Not that this is not a handmade custom. This is just a different level with the Frank Fisher Battle. But it's about the same size. Like, those are pretty similar size. This is kind of at my edge of wanting, for size. Much smaller than this is not really my thing. But I think it's totally cool. I think the way the lock is and the blade going into the lock, the way that the parts are suspended in the acrylic, resin is just, I think it's fantastic. I think this is a really cool knife. I think the fact that it's made in France is one of the reasons why Alex bought it, because he is originally from France. So there is a lot of things for him. This is a great, perfect knife for him because it's from France, because it's got watch pieces. And I don't know. I think it's very cool. It's unusual. I'm super excited that Alex sent it up to me to check out and then to share with all of you, because this is not something that you typically see. And so I am super grateful that I was able to show and share. Here it is with the cleaner blade, just so you know. Thanks for watching. Please go check out Alex's channel and the EDC Hour channel down below. I'll have links to all of that, including their website.